everyone, it's Tony for eModels.co.uk. Yeah, I know, that sounds shocking. I'm struggling at the moment with one of these little things that are going around at the moment, and it's giving me tonsillitis officially. So I'm taking a couple of days off work. I managed to struggle through last week because they stuck me in the back office, but yeah, as I'm talking, excuse me, it's just losing all the time. Also, don't sneeze in one of these because it's just horrible. Yeah. So, welcome to part 3 of the Rossi high-speed. Hang on, let me get this right. This one's a bigger mouthful than the Yamaha was. The Rossi high-speed riding set for the Yamaha YZRM 109 and stuff like that. In this episode, hopefully, I'll manage to fluff my way through building the figure, and hopefully it'll make sense, because yeah, it's me, nothing makes sense. So you go watch, I'm gonna gargle, I don't know, something, make this sound better, and I'll see you in a minute. So whilst all that's drying, we'll jump into building the figure. So I need that bit there, and again I've got the instructions just off camera. So I'll just get the torso parts in, and the arm parts and things like that. So we need the arms first. So we need one arm, that's other. So I'll just show you very quickly on one arm how we prepare this. Let's get a skinny stick and my knife, and then I'll do the rest of the build in time lapse. So it's basically going to be the same thing for the arms and legs. So it's pretty straightforward, it's literally just two halves put together. So just there we've got a nub where we've just cut from the frame, so we're just going to very gently with a knife, and the thumb's well out of the way. As you can see, I'm just whittling very gently on that nub there. Not whittling, whittling. Now, is that part of his uniform, or is that a seam line? Just there. No, that's part of the outfit. Cool. I just spotted then. Let's see if we can catch that in the light. My lighting's shocking. I do apologise. There's like a big ridge. See if you can hear it. I can find it again. There we go. Oh, that just sounds wrong. I think that's actually a seam line in his uniform. So we know where to paint up to, because there's like in the instructions, there's actually a line there. If you can make that out, just there, which does line up on his forearm with that line there. So we'll tackle that properly in a moment when we get the rest of this sorted out. So just take that nub away. Very gently. Just a quick shave. Don't go gouging. Keep the blade as flat as you can. So obviously if we go at an angle like that, we're going to dig in. So quite a shallow angle. And it's literally bob two halves together. That is a bit more work. Just there. Bob two halves together. Take some Tamiya extra thin cement, and we'll go on the inside of the sleeve at the top. What will happen, because this is nice and runny, capillary reaction will take that. Zip, straight down the seam. Little squeeze, and you'll see a little bit of plastic melting and dribbling out. We'll just go on the inside here, like so. Again, little squeeze, get some dribbling out, and drop some into that elbow gap there. And there is an elbow pad that goes in that gap. This lighting is shocking. I do apologise. We've got a gap there. So give it all a squeeze. Make sure everything lines up. There you go, job's a good one. Leave that to the side for a few moments to cure and do its thing. And then we do the same for the other arm and the legs. Time lapse time. So that's the setting and gluing and things like that, and whatever. Yeah, got nubs everywhere. Let's get rid of that one. So the torso itself, the instructions tell you to take these two parts of the lower abdomen and bodge them together, and they don't quite line up. And I'm hesitant to glue those together first, because as you can see there's no attachment points whatsoever, which is unusual for a Tamiya kit. Normally there's little tabs and things like that to get everything lined up, and there isn't. Same with the upper shoulders on the chest. It's all hunched over, there's nothing there to line it all up. No little tabs or anything. So we've got to faff about and do this by eye. But look of it. Now that part is quite self-explanatory anyway, because it does line up to a point on the chest and shoulders, but this abdomen part doesn't. So I'm going to do this slightly off. Oh my. Oh my, that's going to need a lot of filling. Or is it? No, it's not. Ooh. That's not good. I don't like that. See what the other side's like. Oh, that's not so bad. So it's going to need a little bit of work. Not too much, hopefully. There's something slipping in the corner over there and it sounds like it's dripping, but it's not. It's actually our box moving. It really does sound like water dripping. That's quite bizarre. It's a little bit fiddly, that. Those seam lines are quite nasty and ugly. So, proof is in the pudding and all that kind of rubbish. Let's get this tacked on and see what we can do with it. So again, I'm going to try and work from inside if I can. Just get myself lined up. Run some glue in. Oops. Going to tack. Make sure that there's like a funny shoulder pad to go in there at some point by the look of it. So just get those lined up as best we can. There's a seam I've just spotted now that runs across the top of the neck I'm going to have to take care of anyway. So that's tacked across the shoulder. We'll just nip these in here. I don't know if you can make that out. That is quite a nasty little... Ugh. It's unusual for the Tamiya, this. So it's not quite as bad as it could be. Could be better, but I've seen worse. I've worked with worse. So we'll let that shoulder and chest plate sort itself out for a few more minutes before we start fiddling about with the abdomen. In the meantime, just pop that off to the side. But in the meantime, move close. Stop it. Oops. So we're just going to take the sole now and attach it to the leg parts. It's got a Cuban heel. That's quite cool. So again, we're just going to drop some glue in the back, let capillary reaction take over, do its thing, and then we'll drop some into the front. Like so. Now there are a few naughty little seams that we need to take care of. So what we'll do is we'll give this a quick coat across where the seams are that we've glued already. Kind of like we did with the front splash guard in the YZR build itself, the M1 build, whatever it is, the bike. Where are we? So that's that one. So I'll take care of the other sole off camera, but it's literally, repeat what we've just done now. And like I say, we'll drill some paint over the top here just to take care of these seams. See how nasty they look. Before we get on to that, we'll finish the chest and abdomen off. Now, luckily we can get our finger in one side, and this right hand side does seem to fit better than the left. Hang on. The left front is my right as we're looking at it. So we're just going to try and line that up loosely, and then got some paint in. Not paint at all, is it? Ugh. So just dot all that round, make sure it catches. And let's be gentle at this part. So we're just lining, there's one half of a zip, line up with the armpit. Like so. There's a huge gap in there. Right in the back there. Don't like that at all. See daylight there, that's not good. Also just close that gap a little bit more. A tiny little bit of pressure. Gentle movements if we can. This really is building together like a rocket. I don't like it. It's freaking me out. I'm sorry I've gone quiet on you, huh? That's how much I'm concentrating. I've gone quiet. So that's about as close as we can get now. So I'll leave that to go off and then we'll come back and have a proper look at that later on. As I said there, I'm just a little concerned that I'm going to have the same problem when I put the little fuselage together, and there is quite a nasty little seam at the back there that we're going to have to take care of as well. This is beginning to be like Harold out the Wonder Horse. Right, shift that. Right, helmet parts and face parts and things like that. Now, I've actually clipped these off the sprue already because I'm silly and I got carried away. The two halves of the helmet are numbered exactly the same, so they will be the same regardless. So we're going to worry about the separate helmet separately. That makes sense in my head. And we've got the little flexible vinyl-y type face thing. That's freaking me out, it really is. I've never come across anything like that before. And we've got the magneto mask as well. So we'll cover the separate helmet at the same time as we do this part now. I'll show some areas. Helmet liner from the bottom. So, the quick and nasty rough build is... Oh, I've got paint on my fingers. I've just done the pre-shade on the stand. So I'm hoping to get all this in the same pre-shade thing. Right, so the magneto helmet is... Where's the instructions gone? Yeah, I'm going to call it the magneto helmet. So we've got the back half, which is the vinyl stuff. We've got the front half, which is magneto itself, which go together like so. And apparently we've already imagined... Turn that off. If you can imagine, we've tacked that together already with glue, so I'm just going to hold that with tape. Use very quickly and loosely. Come on, with tape. Like so. Let's get a couple around the bottom edge. So imagine that's glued already. Missed. What was in that vodka? So apparently we glue that together, and then we shove that one in first. Yeah, right. Which, as you can see, is cracked the glue if it's glued. Compress C7. There we go. So we compress C7, which is that back piece, and then we compress C9, which is that front piece. And bear in mind, that's flexible. We've painted that. That's going to crack the paint, like so. And then you hold all that together with this part. Make sure it's the right way around. And I figured out when I was saying about the 1 and 2 number decals, I figured out where they go. Number 1 actually goes on the inside of that liner there. Number 2 go either side here. So that's pretty straightforward. That's not too bad. So we need to paint the inside of the helmet in German grey. We need to paint the liner that we've just added, and this thing as well, in German grey too. Which will be fun because it's, like I say, it's flexible and it's going to crack. I could just see that. So we'll carry on using the Vallejo Model Air really dark grey that we've got, which is the RLM 74. So it's more like a Panzer grey. I say it's really dark and nasty and horrible. So on the inside of this collar liner, I'm just going to put some tape there, just so we can hold it. And then we need to paint, we'll paint the inside of the liner first, the face liner, and then we'll paint the inside of the back liner. Now the back half of that, the back side even, you shouldn't really see, so we can actually grip that with clamping tweezers, like so. So that's not a problem. This one's going to be a bit of a pain, so what we'll do for the time being is another dotted masking tape, just so we've got something to hold on to. So plonk that round side on the front, fold the edge over, and then it won't stick to your fingers whilst you're holding it. And hopefully, some scrap of cardboard. Turn the compressor back on. Oh! Quick blast. So it's slightly darker than we need, but we'll use this as the primer. So we get as much in as the face we can, once we've got hold of it. Like so. Got the inside. There we go. Hey, painting my fingers again. Paint inside with the liner. Like so. My airbrush is running on. I've not lubricated it there last time I cleaned it. Right, so we'll let go of the clamping tweezers. Grab hold of this little tab in the back of Valentino's face. So we're just going to cover everything in this RLM 74. I know, madness, trust me. Now this Vallejo Model Air is an acrylic resin. It's polyurethane, which is technically a resin. So it's a lot safer with this kind of stuff than the Tamiya paints. The Tamiya paints being alcohol based actually eat into flexible things and destabilise them, which is a bit nasty and we don't want that. So that's the throats for Valentino. The idea is that that big lumpy bit fits in the back of the head, and then obviously get the neck and throat area. So we're just going to take care of a little bit of flashing that I've just spotted. So again, we're just going to whittle away with the edge of a knife. And a quick scrape, just take care of the edges. And now you can see why I wear gloves all the time when I'm painting, because I paint my fingers. As ridiculed as I get for it, you know who you are, Ted. Yeah. So I can't be bothered washing my hands every 2 minutes. So, the part that goes in the back of the face, which is just freaking me out, I'm going to hold that in one of these little clammy things for the Tamiya stand. One of those. And again, just so it's all uniform colour, so we're working off the same base coat, primer type thing. The point is neck. Don't worry about this. I know it's horribly dark. Trust me. So we're going to be using a technique that I learnt a long time ago when I was tabletop gaming kind of thing. I didn't actually get into it properly. I love painting and stuff, I never could play it, never could understand the rules. Freaked me out. So again, I'm just painting the inside of the helmet. Off camera I'll take care of the other side of the helmet as well. Not the other side of the helmet at all, the one that's still on the frames, that's the one. So I'll just leave that like that for the time being. Put the inside of this one. We'll let that dry. I've got most of the inside parts done once it's on the frame. So the reality is, whilst I'm building and filming this, I've literally just finished putting on the pre-shading. I'll find my words in a minute. What was in that vodka? Just finished pre-shading, and I'm now going onto the helmet whilst I've got this in the cup. But obviously, editing wise, so we're not skipping about all over the place and confusing everybody. We follow the methodology of, we'll finish the bike, we'll build the figure. Hang on, we'll finish the bike, we'll build the stand, we'll build the figure. Yeah. It's also in reality at the moment, I'm actually... yeah, I've already just glued these. They're still setting. I know, it's great. So, that's that. That should be almost driving it a touch now. So that's the rest of the helmet. You stay there. Just get that front edge. Like so. Like so. that. So yes, I'll stop running on. It is a lot darker than we need it to be, but there's a reason for that. As you'll find out in the next clip. So don't worry about the dark, like I say, it's just a base coat primary type thing. It's a polyurethane, so this will dry fairly quickly. Like I say, it's a lot kinder to these rubbery parts than the Tamiya paints. Tamiya paints being alcohol based, whereas these are proper acrylic-y stuff that have nothing harmful in them other than resin. So we'll pop that off to the side there, like so, and then I'll go and wash my hand. Yeah. Alright. What's the figure? Docky. Right then. So hopefully that glue's dry by now. Now if we put the two leg halves together, we can see straight away there's a huge gap there, which is freaking me out. There's all kinds of lines and God knows what else on it. It's not up to Tamiya's usual high standard, that. I don't know whether it's just this kit or whether it is the rest of them as well. Honestly don't know. So apparently you put the two leg halves together, and then we get the bike, come here you. So when I get around to doing this part, I'll actually put this on the stand so it's a lot more stable. You get the bike, you drop the legs over like so, get him into position on the pegs so he's on the lean. You have the torso, then you tack his arms on with the gloves in place. No you don't, you tack an arm on, add the gloves afterwards so you can get him all lined up and things like that. It's all very fiddly, so we'll do that, because as you can see, as it is at the moment, it's all a bit unsteady. So yeah, I know, filming it all out of sequence. We've not even painted the base yet. Just line the wheels up so we get the what are they called? The pegs that we added to the wheels. And then we need the shorter of the screws. Welcome back. You've literally just missed a half-hour struggle with a little poly bag and a tiny little corner that we cut off trying to get these blowing screws out. Ridiculous. Alright, so that's the front. Like that, so we'll put that screw there. Line this up with the back wheel. Like so. Ah, now I get why they've done it. I was wondering why they put it. It helps you line up. It helps you appreciate where the hills are. I like that. It's one of those, oh, stupid, put me here things. I like that. Alright, how many of you are pointing and laughing at your TV again? Because I will be when I'm editing. Right, so that's the rear screw. Swing around to the front, just plonk you there. As you can see, that's a little bit more stable than try to do that with this silly little kickstand. Call it a kickstand again. Oh, rubbish. Yeah, I'm rubbish. Don't fight me. Oh, cooperate. Told you. I don't need your help making me look foolish on national telly. I'm not capable of doing that myself. So just line the hole up again. The screw. Taking care not to knock anything off the bike. Or drop the bike. Because right now that would be disastrous. And of course making sure we don't cross thread the screw into the thing. Right. Cooperate. There you go. Alright, so that's him. That's a lot sturdier than it was. So I'm happy with that now. Right, so that can wait off to the side. And that gives you an idea now of what the stand will look like. So we'll just drop down like so. That's kind of cool. I do like that. And the pre-shading actually looks like a shadow of the bike, as well as skids. I like that. I do like that. Wasn't planned at all, but it works. Happy. I'm happy now. So hopefully my gimbal's going to stay there. I've got a new gimbal on the way because this camera is a little bit too heavy for the gimbal. The previous builds have all been filmed off this thing. I think I mentioned it in the build for this bike. This is lovely and light. This thing weighs a ton. So I've got a new professional gimbal on the way. That picks up for about 25 quid. 25 quid! Oh, never mind. So we're going to use the big gloopy stuff for the leg halves. Just to tack it all together so we've got a bit more control. We'll tack all this lighting. I've not actually taken care of any of the seam lines just yet. Oh my god, that's a huge gap. My face. So we'll see if this takes first. Which hopefully it will. And so we don't want to use super glue or the two-part epoxies for this, because that's, you run the risk then of everything shearing off because they're not very good at bonding together. It'll stick stuff to itself, but you apply any kind of pressure and it'll shear off. These things actually melt into the plastic. He says, and you can see it there as you pull away. There's all kinds of spaghetti lines coming away. So I'm just going to add some more in. It's not quite catching properly. Big drop on my cutting mat. Spilly to aisle 7. Yeah, he's melted the paint off. Oh, he's melted the line off. So do take care of a glue spillage on your cutting mat as soon as you can. So otherwise it will eat all the way through. I've managed to ruin 2 mats like that. So yeah, it'll be fine. I'll get that later. So I'm slowly taking, I can slowly feel it biting him. I'm just spotted on his bum line. There's a big ridge there. You can see it where he shifts across in the saddle. So that'll actually help us with the fit. So I'm just going to leave that for a couple of moments. Right, so the legs seem to have glued now after a couple of moments. So we've got this peg here. I've used my whirligig. Eventually it gets round. Stop. I've got this peg here we need to attach his feet to. Or not attach his feet to, but we need to line them up. So we'll just drop him over the top. Like I said, there's a little groovy thing there in his bum cheeks that helps us line up with the far side of the seat. So we'll just spin it back around that way. So it kind of lines up on this side with that groove. Now if I just plonk him forward a tiny little bit. There we go. So he's got his foot on that peg. And his foot on that peg. So that's roughly the kind of position that we need him in. So if I drop down here now, you can actually see how far he's leaning over. Now that pose in and of itself, while he's upright, is one that I'm after to start with. And if we spin it around, do it manually. Oh! So we get the impression that he's just about to chuck it into a corner. And I like that. I do like that. But obviously, when we cant the bike over like this as well, it's going to look even more epic. But I like that. So we're going to have to do a little bit of work, like I say, on these seam lines on his legs, especially on that top side. Underneath this leg here, I'm not too bothered about, because once it's canted over, you're not really going to see that. Sounds like you're reversing now. But we need to take care of this one down here too. And this one here at the back. But we'll get to that. Once I've actually got the figure on the bike and ready, we'll take care of that then. What I've decided as well is I'll only use the airbrush to prime him. And after that we'll do everything by hand. Yes, we'll do everything by hand because it's going to be a little bit awkward, especially where the arms are concerned. Yeah, there we go. The camera's got a dropsy, so I need a new gimbal. You've got a gimbal. Once we get the arms in, how's your other arm gone? Anyway, it's going to be a little bit awkward getting into all the crooks and nannies, especially when he's like this. So it's going to be a little bit awkward to get him in properly, especially where the elbow and knees meet. So what we'll do is we'll do most of the painting in two separate halves, like this. And again, we'll have to look at the decals to see if there's any that actually lap over. Hopefully there won't be, but especially lapping over into this corner here, it's going to be a little bit awkward, so we might have to look at that closely another time. So we'll get the arms roughly butted in now. Ooh, build the hands first, build the hands, we need to build the hands. So I've just jumped ahead of without you off camera to put one hand together because it's that funny finally rubber stuff that I've never actually come across before, and I just realised I still haven't looked up what TPE was, I think it's called. Where's that sprue gone? There it is. So yeah, they give you these little things on the top of sprues so you know what you're dealing with. So we've got TPE and the rest of the kit. It's making me actually a liar now because I've lost it. There it is. So that's PS for polystyrene. It just helps us out with what we can do with paints and things like that. The other plastic is ABS, which you can't really paint with this stuff straight away because this stuff actually dissolves it. Same with enamels and oils. The odorless thinners tend to make it all crumble and stuff like that. So we need to prime ABS especially. But with polystyrene you can actually go straight over with these with the Tamiya acrylics, because it reacts with the plastic slightly and bonds together and things like that. So as soon as I find out what this TPE stuff is, because I've never heard of it before. Apparently it's Trans-Pennine Express. Other train services are available. Thermoplastic elastomer. Okay. Wow. Happy birthday. Couple of those. Thermoplastic rubbers. Thermoplastic. What? Ooh. Show advantage is typical of both rubbery materials and plastic materials. So it's a kind of cross between rubber and polystyrene by the sounds of it. Which is why that's actually glued. I'm quite impressed with that. It was freaking me out because it's new and I've not come across it before, but yeah, apparently it's okay. So that'll go in there. Hopefully we're not splitting the glue that we've just done. Awesome. One glove in hand. So, got that one together. Just line those up. Line those up. Will you line up? There we go, line that up. And then taking some Tamiya thin cement. I tried it with Tamiya thin cement because it tells you the instructions just up here to attach these gloves to the forearms with Tamiya thin cement. And it does seem to do the job. You can see it squish out straight away the moment you apply any pressure. So we'll just wiggle it around, make sure it's lined up before it actually starts setting. It's kind of cool. It's still freaking me out because it is quite new. Oops, no, wrong bottle. So we've got some in the palm there where the two hands line up. So there we go. We'll leave that to cure for about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll attach it to that hand. What I'm actually going to do is I'm not actually going to glue these together at any point anyway, simply because I want to be in a position where I'm able to take Valley off the bike and just pose the bike on its own with some body kit off. So that will come in handy. From the looks of it, going ahead in the instructions, when you slonk him together, that's one of the ways you take him off the bike to start with. Hopefully you can see that against the background. So yeah, that was an email. So it looks like you slap the hands on the handlebars and now the figure afterwards. So I'll slonk his arms in a minute and get them roughly lined up, and then we'll figure that out. That looks kind of cool. So just added the hands to the bike very loosely indeed. So I'm just going to take the arms and shift that way a little bit. Yeah, really loose. There's quite some good detail in those hands. I'm quite impressed. Yep, stay there. So they are really loose, luckily. So it looks like it gives a little bit of leeway for playing them out with the thing. So huge gaps. There's not much more sculpting I can do to that to get it all to line up. So I'm just going to hope that I can get enough of this big goopy glue to sit in the gap. So I'm just going to smother liberally inside the gap itself, inside the socket even that it gave us, and then line that shoulder panel up where we get the slidey bit, and hopefully, oh my god, that's a huge gap. Hopefully as the glue takes hold it'll actually squish together so we can actually sort that seam out, because that is a huge gap. There we go. So it's slowly biting. Get some extra thin in. And wherever possible we're going to use the kit's own plastic as it is as the filler. So we give that a bit of a squish, get some squish out. So it's exactly the same as we did on the bike itself with that front splash guard. Use the kit itself as its own filler. There we go. So that's sorting that gap out nicely. So it's going to hold that, and I'll stop the clip here and edit it away because I'm going to be sat there now for about 10 minutes whilst all that sets. So hopefully I can get a decent camera angle now that I can film this. Which is why I've got the cardboard at the back, so I can have as little distracting us in the background as possible. So, just taking a few minutes just to make sure that he's all lined up with the pegs on his feet. I've got one glove on the handlebars already, so we've only got the one arm on the torso for the time being, just to make sure. So we're just going to very gently guide the hand onto the wrist and guide the torso down. Beautiful stuff. So it does look like we're going to get away with this. So we just have that arm on there. We can now get a quick and nasty impression of how he'll look. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Just very loosely as it is at the moment. Like I said, the torso's not attached at all. It's all very loose. We've got a huge gap on that left arm. Looks like that. So hopefully, if I glue his arm onto the torso now, it shouldn't be too bad. So we've got a huge gap at the back end as well because he's not quite lined up. So we'll just take care of this arm now. Take the glove off, take the torso away, and then separate that hand there. Shift the bike. Without dropping anything. So we'll just go through the quick process the same way now. So we'll just get everything lined up like so. And we've got a huge crossover at the back again. So we'll do the same thing. We'll apply liberally with the goopy stuff on the inside of that socket there. And I'm going to put some on the face this time of that socket there. There's going to be a little bit of squish out again this time. Oops. Come, get in. So just making sure that this, it's like a big raised panel line. There we go. Big raised panel line. So just going to make sure all that lines up. Now it does look like I might have to do a bit of carving in there for the slider pads that go on. That's actually a better fit than the right arm was. So happy with that. So we'll just leave that for a few minutes to set as well. So we come back to the Valentino's face. So we've got the neck part with the freaky behind the skull thing that he's freaking me out. We've already got paint cracking away from the nose tip. So hopefully we can get away with all this. Now, having done the gloves, I now know that I can whack some glue on the back of this thing and it reacts kind of like polystyrene does. I'm just going to whack a load in the back there, like so. Give it a squish. Ooh. And then hold that for a few moments to cure. Get some squish out around the throat area as well, just to take care of that gap. Okay, so we'll leave that for a few moments to cure, and then we'll start painting his face. So there we are. I was hoping to get the body and the face built and painted and all that kind of stuff all in one episode, but Terry, you were right. This is a little bit more detailed than I thought. So, where we're at now is... forgive me. Come on, get in, line up. That's where the body is at the moment. As you can see, I've given him a bit of a priming so I can figure out some more seam lines, and there's all kinds of gaps and stuff like that. So I'm going to carry on when I find my voice again, taking care of all that kind of thing. But I'll talk you through all that in the next video, and I'll talk you through how I painted his face, which I'm really happy with. So join me next time and I'll talk you through all that kind of nonsense. In the meantime, bob along, see my mates at eModels.co.uk, ask them to check under the counter and see if my voice is hiding under there. I'll finish this one here because yeah, it's really sore at the moment. So thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you in episode 4. Ta-da!